Hanging as always with me is my co-host in crime, Mr. Robert Lee Davis. How you doing today, Rob? Oh, it's fun to
I'm
group to
good.
that
How are
song.
you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So we had just cut that off for a minute because let's just get into it. We were starting to have this conversation that was kind of random. We talked like we were going to talk about a different conversation. We'll get into it about like live music and the Super Bowl and live music. And we kind of got into the Tom Brady thing. So like that was going to be kind of our closer, and it's now kind of our beginning because I think we're going to get into this interesting conversation. But before we do, did you watch Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl?
No, I
No.
did not watch.
Okay. Are you a football fan? I mean,
I didn't
we.
watch any of it. Actually, I did. I just watched the. I'm more of a basketball fan, but I did
Mhm.
watch the clips of the national anthem. See Jasmine Sullivan and also
Mm-hmm.
her did a performance, but I didn't see anything else from it.
Yeah, and I got to only hear half of the national anthem from her, and it sounded good. It sounded very typical of what a lot of really good vocalists will do with the national anthem. You know, those little runs and stuff. But I don't know,
I
man.
mean, she has an amazing voice. There's no
No
denying
denying.
her
No
her voice. I
denying.
forget the guy.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
sorry, I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But Jasmine Sullivan's voice is amazing. But I will always bow down to Whitney Houston's version.
So you'll bow down to Whitney Houston's version, and I know you did post on that. And I didn't listen to her version of it again, and I'd like to because Lady Gaga's version was badass. I mean, it really was. I thought when she did it at the inauguration, I actually really dug her version, and some people would, some people won't, but I thought it was good.
Yes, I think her version was great too in its own way, and I like her. I'm a huge fan of hers. So yes, her version was also different from Whitney's, but she made it her own in her own way.
I felt like she performed it, which was interesting. Like I like sometimes I think singers just get up there and they get really stiff when they do the national anthem, whether they are great performers or not. And I felt like she didn't let that happen to her. And so I thought that was cool for how she did it. But I'll have to look at Whitney Houston's again and revisit it, I guess. But I'm not a fan of our
Yeah,
national anthem
Whitney
as our
gave
national
you the
anthem.
vocals, and Gaga gave you the performance.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of our national anthem as a national anthem anyway. I don't. I've always liked "America the Beautiful" better. It seems more like a national anthem. But that's an opinion. It doesn't mean I don't like the song. It's just yeah. But okay, back to the Super Bowl. Because we were talking about this, and I was kind of telling you about
Yes.
the experience. We just had a tight gathering. My parents got their first shot of the vaccine, by the way, on Saturday. Not that we're like, let's party now, but like it's kind of exciting because my dad's like 80 and my mom's in her mid 70s, and they've been like holed up in their house, going nuts, right? Going to the grocery store for them is an outing. And, I've had to deal with these fights between my brother and my parents. Like, he's like, why aren't they ordering heavy delivered? I'm like, I don't know, but you know what? This is their life. They have nothing else but going to the grocery store, and they wear masks and they do sanitizer, but they're like, that's like a night out for them right now. And that's sad. But, what are you going to do? You can't go anywhere for that. So I'm happy for them and all that. But anyway, we're watching the Super Bowl, and I'm a Patriots fan, and so of course everybody kept asking me, "Are you going to root for Tom Brady, or And I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course I am. I don't know. Like, I feel like the Patriots did him wrong more than he did them wrong. So any Patriots fans out there like, hey, fuck Tom Brady, it's like, yeah, deal with it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who are done with him, just beyond. They
Look,
don't ever want to hear his name mentioned again.
and I get it, but you know what? I mean, I'm sorry if somebody works their ass off all of their life. They work harder than everybody else. And he said all along, I'm going to play till this long. So he's just doing what he said he was going to do. Instead of hating on somebody,
Yeah.
like maybe recognize what's this guy's fucking secret. I may hate him how successful he is, only because he's beaten my players, but what's his secret, and why isn't every other team drafting dudes that are trying to follow that model, if that's how, if there's like if he's got some magic pill for this. But that aside, I was telling you, I like Tom Brady for football. I don't necessarily like his politics. What's interesting is, like, I've never heard him say anything like Republican-y. Like, and other people may say otherwise.
Republican-y?
Republican-y. I know that's a new word. I just made that up. But I'm not saying he's ever shown to be liberal either. What I've noticed, here's the thing, when he's asked about questions like that, he kind of keeps himself pretty quiet and he doesn't really talk about it, which is why people think assume he's a Republican. And I do assume he is a Republican, and I don't care. Like, why would I? And then we had this conversation, and it was like, so do you think, would I hate it? Would I dislike him as a football player if he was outwardly like ultra conservative? And that led us to have a conversation about friends, like, because my first thing is I dislike his politics. I'd like watching him play the game, but I dislike his politics, and maybe I wouldn't root for him as much, but I'd still be impressed by him. You know what I mean? But that led me to the question about friendships, right? And so, like, because you live in New York, you live in like liberal bastion, and there's plenty of Republicans in New York, absolutely. But
there are. I do dislike the notion that New York is this nothing but people who are liberal. There are plenty of people here who are
right,
conservative and Republican and MAGA, right?
Of course,
MAGA, however they want to say it. Idiot.
Q-pubs.
Q-pubs.
Telling you, Q-pubs.
Yes. But no, but there are other people here, right?
Correct.
And it's interesting when you come into contact with them, but yes, they are here.
Yes.
But yes, go ahead. Frame your
question. So my question is, like, I had asked you this question, and like it's you don't have to answer it, but it's more of a rhetorical. Like, so first of all, do you have Republican friends that you know of?
Yes, I know people who have never outwardly said that they are, but I am fairly certain that they are. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha. But do you choose to purposely avoid talking about politics with them?
Of the last, say, at least 5 years of my life, at least. Much more intentionally choose who I spend time with.
Right. Okay.
So if we're going to be in each other's company, I need to know that you are a person who shares a large number of the same cultural beliefs that I do. And if you're part of a party of people that I feel stands against that, I don't feel comfortable hanging around. You know?
You don't.
Not that I think that you're about to like attack me, but you're too much you're too quiet in support of, disgustingness. That's the best way I can put it nicely. Yeah.
So do you think that's part of the problem? Is like that? Like, are we that far gone as a country where we can't even like have? I mean, just even friends that are of the same mind, of a different mind. Like I guess that's. I have a neighbor who's a Republican, and like I'm able to get along great with him. But the reason why I can get along great with him, honestly, is I mean, a lot of reasons. Our kids are friends, so we're kind of forced into this. But he's my neighbor's. We've known each other for over 10 years. We help each other out. We got a great little neighborhood. But he did answer one question for me. All right. Because I generally try to avoid politics with my friends, and then they get drunk, and then they start talking it, and then it's like, whoa, wait, hold off, because I'm going to get into this shit with you now. But I try to have civil debates because I got to see these people every day, and my kids play with them and everything, and and they're good people. But he answered one question for me, and I said, look, could you just tell me that you recognize that Donald Trump is a bad person? And he's like, absolutely. He's a terrible human being. And like, That at least that admission shows me that like there's some kind of way to move past something. You know, I mean, because I'll talk shit about Democrats all day long. I have no problem with that.
Oh yeah, I have no problem calling out Democrats on shady behavior, on any number of bullshit things that they've done. I have no issue with that at all. But okay, so he says that he's a bad person, but did he? And because I don't want to make this specifically about your neighbor. So
Oh no. That's just that's actually a compliment in the sense of that, but yeah, of him. But yes, go ahead.
But I just mean for that person, why? But see, it doesn't even matter to me why. If a person could knowingly support both a person who I consider to be vile and a party that is harming people, right? In my opinion,
right.
I don't know what I would have in common to talk about with people. I know people say that they avoid political conversations with their friends, but I think I have an understanding of where that thought process even originally came from. But I feel like overall, that's the problem with the world. People should not be avoiding these conversations. They should be having these conversations.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. But like the hard thing is how emotional do you take that conversation? You know what I mean? And that's why they always say don't talk about politics and religion. And I get it, but at the same point, like if we don't how, I'm not a religious person. I don't know if you are. We've never really gotten into religion, personally. Your dad was a preacher, right? So, but we as friends, it's never come up because I don't think about religion personally, unless it comes up in a conversation. You know what I mean? And so, it's something I'll address in a conversation.
But I don't think that you want to. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I don't think that you want to. So you're not a spiritual. Well,
hey.
you spiritual.
Whatever. Spiritual is a bullshit word anyway. Can we all just say spiritual is a bullshit word? I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Really? What are you doing? What are you doing that makes you spiritual? Are you sitting are you floating and levitating somewhere like Buddha and that? What makes you spiritual? Please explain that BS statement that plenty of liberals say. All right. And I'm liberal, people. Come on. What does that mean? I'm spiritual. Just tell me you're agnostic. Tell me you don't fucking know. That's it. Tell me that. Be honest with people.
But I believe that I'm spiritual.
Okay. Well, what does that mean then, Rob? Answer that question. What does spiritual mean when you say that?
There's a sense of connection that I feel to something that is much larger than me, right? I do not believe that we're here by happenstance. I do believe that there is a design to this. I don't know that I don't know that I can hold on to this notion of a very heavy male dominant God. I feel that there's a fluidity of gender to how I experience God. I don't know. Spiritual doesn't bother me as a at least for me, because I feel like I know what it is for me. But I guess I do feel like I hear you saying that you hear people say it and it feels empty, like an empty statement.
It feels like a short cop-out answer to just admit that you don't know. That's my thought. I'm agnostic. Anybody who is absolutely sure that there is something or absolutely sure that there isn't something, I think is full of shit. I think like you could admit like I feel like there's something, but that's what you're creating for yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying that there isn't something, because I feel like there's a connection between life and everything in the earth, whether it's spiritual or natural. I don't know. Like maybe it's just a natural connection to the earth.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You just totally started to shake and
I
freeze
did.
and
Oh, that's not
distort.
good. Well, it just said that my Wi-Fi connection got unstable for a second, so there's a possibility we may have to do a little switcheroo. But so I'm trying to work on that. Oh, I lost Rob. It looks like we totally lost him. Well, we might have lost everything. We'll be back with technical difficulties again.